All right, so this is an overview for Audacity, how to use it for podcasting and making a more advanced podcast. So this is kind of part one of the stuff that you need. So what we're going to do is just open up a new window, and you're going to type in Audacity. And under Audacity, you can see there it says download, Windows, Mac, all this kind of stuff. You can click on the main page here, but I would just go straight to download. Now, one of the key things is you need to have an actual computer. This doesn't work for an iPad or any other kind of like tablet. At school, if you're downloading this, you want to use Windows. Obviously, that's what we have at school. At home, you might do a Mac if you have that. So we're going to click Windows, and then it's going to actually just automatically start downloading. I'm going to just move the window here so you can see that. There we go. I think you can see it anyway. And that's just down at the bottom here. It says Audacity Win. I'm going to click that. And then it's going to open up on the page. And it's going to say, select setup language. English is good. Then it's going to give you a new setup screen. And I'm just going to say next to set it up. Next. Choose a folder. Make a desktop shortcut, install. It's really pretty quick to install, just takes a couple minutes here, and then you'll be up and running basically with the software. Now the nice thing about Audacity is it's free, so you can download it anywhere, and once you've installed it once, you don't need to keep reinstalling it. You do want to get some updates every now and then, but it's really slick and it's free, totally worth using. So we're going to say next, launch Audacity, finish. And then from here, we have this kind of like startup menu, and you can read through this stuff here. I don't need to see that, so I'm going to say OK. And here you basically have your kind of overview. And I'm going to make sure this is maximized so you can see everything. I'm going to drag this up a little bit and over, just so you can kind of see the general sense of it. I think you're getting the most stuff there that you need. You might lose a little bit. So actually, I'm going to just reduce the size of this a little bit so you can see everything. Okay, I think that's good. Now, what you'll notice here is a couple things that are really important. Number one, and this will matter for when you use our setup, this is to asking like, what do you want to record with? On ours, there's one that says like codec, and it says like codec input or something. That's the one you want, is the codec input. Again, please ask me if you're not sure what it is, just because it's a real frustrating situation for you as students to go through recording a whole session and then it recorded with the wrong mic or something. So this is the microphone you're using. This is if you want to listen to it. Excuse me, this one's what you're listening to. This is saying, is it mono or stereo? Mono is perfectly fine, but obviously stereo is nice. It just gives you a little bit more options there. And then this is what your output is here. So mine, for instance, is the headphones. That's how I can listen to stuff. Okay. Otherwise, up here, this is the microphone draw, the recording volume, that's 1, and then playback volume is 0.32. Now, the easiest way to go about this is literally you can just hit this record button. And what you'll notice is a new track comes up, and it's already starting to record me. And you'll notice that I have different voice kind of modulations and all that kind of stuff as it goes through. But it's doing its job. And now I can push stop at any time, and that totally stops things and allows me to go through and edit. I could also, let's say you need to like regroup as a group, you can push pause as well. Or you can just let it keep running through. Now, the nice thing about that is that anytime I can go here and play back what I just heard. So let's listen to that. And it's already starting to record me. And you'll notice that all right, so you can hear it. It sounds good. If I notice that I said something that I want to cut, so let's look it over here. Stuff as it goes through. Okay, so right here is my So I go which is not great. Doesn't sound good in a podcast. So I can cut that super easily. Now, I can go up to edit and choose a whole bunch of different things. But what I want to think about is what kind of quick edits can I do? So here I can say cut. I could also do, as I can see here, it's Control and X. So I'm going to highlight it and then do Control X. and it cuts it. So now that sounds like the following. Goes through, but it's doing it. So I've cut out that If you're going to make a professional sounding podcast, you want to cut out that stuff and you want to make sure to limit what you have. Now, another trick in podcasting, I'm just going to delete a whole bunch of this so we can just kind of stay on the same screen. But let's do all this. Control X. So I've cut it all. I'm going to record a little bit and I'm going to pretend to mess up, and then you're going to hear me clap. And you'll notice you can actually see what it looks like here. So I'm going to mess up. Oh no, I messed up. Okay, what you notice there is, see this spike? That's just me clapping. And what you can do as you're recording is if you messed up or something, you can just do a clap. And when you look through, you can actually recognize that, oh, hey, like I must have messed up right here because this line is abnormal, right? So that's just a quick way to do something where you know an area that you messed up that you want to then edit out. And it just sounds like, oh no, I messed up. So see, that's where it spikes, and we can then just cut out that kind of area, and it helps me locate it. Because, as many of you know who have done this in kind of the simpler podcast version, you're going to have like maybe 10 minutes worth of editing and cutting and all that kind of stuff. So it's important that you think about that, what it sounds like and all that kind of stuff. All right. Now I'm going to show you how you can add a track on top of that. And this is where we can start to get a little bit more creative with what we do. So if I want to add if I want to add a new track, then what I can do is I can go up to track and add new mono track or stereo track, whatever I want to do there. And oftentimes what that will allow for is if I want to add more information on a different track or something like that. But you might want to add different music or something like that. So what you can do is say import audio, and you have to find audio files. So I should have probably set this up beforehand, but I think I can find some if I just go to the Crusader, and then I have here podcasts, and let's go to sports, football 2015, Super Bowl preview. Perfect. And notice it's an MP3, so that'll work well. And I can pop that in. Now, what you notice is that's a 20-minute file. So that's really long. I'm actually going to cut some of this just so you can kind of get a sense of that, how we might want to limit that. And then I'm going to go back to the beginning here, and now I'm going to zoom in on those. And you'll notice that's still quite a bit more than what I have. And what you need to do here is you actually have to move that sound around. So I have two tracks now, and I need to move this sound around. So what I can do is I can copy and paste, right? So I can go Control C, Control V, and notice I can copy and paste that. So I can move it that way. That's one way, is I just copy all this, Control copy, find a different area, Control paste. Okay, that's how that works. Otherwise, you're going to have two tracks that play over each other. So listen to how this sounds, which does not sound good.
Everybody, this is Jared Bernhardt. This is my brother,
oh,
Jason
no.
Bernhardt.
I messed up.
And we are coming to you live from our room.
So that doesn't sound good, right? So what we need to do is we can exit out of all this. We can X that. And we need to think about how these overlay each other. So again, you can copy and paste it. You can also, if you highlight it under your edit, I can move it by using this little move button. So I can move it around. So I can move this around. So any bit of audio that I've isolated, I can move around. Okay. So depending on what you're using, if I select this, I can move this over to here. So it's really easy then to mix audio together and to cut it. So again, I select it. Down here, I'm on this track only. I can push delete to remove it, right? Or I can do Control X to move it. But I can then move it up here around however I want. That way you end up getting a podcast that has multiple things going on. This is really great to do if you have interviews. So what you would do is you could play the interview and then you could overlay your own audio. So what that sounds like is, let's play this here. We're going to start this audio here, and then I'm going to overlay my recording after that. So let me do less of that. So here's that outro.
Yeah, said this week during his Super Bowl press conferences that this whole thing has kind of made him sad and it kind of haunts him, but he wants to put that behind his back and be able to focus on the game.
And at this point, now that I've heard that, I could transition here on mine and go, and that's what this person was thinking. Okay, and now I have this audio that will come off of here. And that's what this person was thinking. So then you have those kind of transitions. Now, speaking of transitions, let's say you want to fade this out. There's all these effects up here. We can fade in and fade out. So we can do fade out. Notice it just shrinks the size of it. You can do all these different effects to your own voice. So let's say the beginning of yours, you wanted to fade in. You just highlight that little area. You can zoom in if that helps. I can highlight that little area, go up to effect, and say fade in. I can do like weird effects on mine, so I'm just going to delete this and show you what these effects sound like. And I'll delete this whole thing. There we go. So let me record something. This is a test to show you what an echo sounds like. And if I go effect, echo. Okay, there we go. Now here's what an echo sounds like. This is a test to show you what an echo sounds like. So that actually literally sounds like an echo that goes again and again. Okay. So let's say you've recorded it, you feel good, you've you have your multiple tracks maybe, you've done a really nice job, you've edited everything, you feel really good about it. Now it's time to export it. So what we need to do is go File, Export, and then you have these three options. The three that will work with Anchor are MP3 and WAV. I think it said 3. I'm not sure OGG does. But MP3 works well. You can also do WAV. WAV's just a bigger file. And then you're gonna want to put that into a proper folder. So I'm just gonna call this one tutorial practice. But make sure it's something good. You want to add your name, Dan, artist name, Dan Faulkner. Okay, and you're gonna go through all these. I'm not gonna do that right now. But those are really important to do because those will auto input into different programs. All right, so now we've done that, and what we can do from there is go to Anchor, fm.dashboard. I can click New Episode. I can say Library, and I can click here to upload, or I can drag my files here. So I'm going to just click there to upload, and I need to go back to, where was it? Journalism, Podcasts, and Tutorial Practice. So there we go. It's uploading, it's processing. This is going to take a while if you have a full podcast like that you did and you export it as a WAV file, just because those are big files. But here you can see it's pretty small. And then this way from here, if you want to add any of that like cute little music, those transitions, anything like that, you can either do that here, or now it's also available on your iPad in your library, right? So it's under Tutorial Practice here. This is a test to show you what an echo sounds. So that's the basic thing. And then I think from Anchor, you all understand how to do that. So again, this is Audacity. It's amazing. It's free. It's really easy to use. There's so many things that I didn't even go over that you're going to want to look through here. But this is the basic way to make a podcast that works really well. It's high quality, and I think it'll improve your overall product.